this. That's my son's gerbils. And next door's cat is coming through the cat flap. Oh, what's going on here? I am supposed to be doing a leech feeding film, but that's got more interesting at the second. Yeah, he's coming through the cat flap. Next door's cat. Or a couple of doors down, actually. Yeet. Right, anyway. Right, lid's off. I'm going to do regular updates. So, because this could be a long film. So I'll just do clips of stages and so on. But he's at the bottom at the moment. And there's all kinds of stuff going on over there with the cat. Jules is watching as well. Jules is watching the cat walking around. I think Jules wants the cat wants the gerbils. And the leech wants me. Yikes. I was kind of waiting to see if he was going to come to the surface. And I could just put my arm there like that, like kind of hang. But he likes his rock too much. Let's see if I can do this. Ah. Oh, how am I going to do this? Hold on. Right. He's just fell off. He's huge. He's a lot bigger. And he's actually more active than I thought he'd be afterwards. But, job done. Right, it's the day after feeding Licorice, my leech. Basically, he's been in food heaven for the last day. There's a couple of times I've looked at him and he's been totally upside down. He can hardly move. And he looks extremely happy. He's gone a bit more flexible now. He was really stiff sort of last night, but he doesn't move much. He's kind of in leech heaven at the moment. See, he's sort of very immobile. Looking rather happy. He was completely upside down last night. I thought he was dead, but I think he was just in like a food coma, like snakes and things like that maybe. But he's a lot bigger than he was. The wound. That's an interesting subject because yesterday, okay, I fed him for sort of from 10 to 11 was when I fed him in the morning. And when he actually eventually fell off, that actually bled then for a good 4 or 5 hours, and then it started slowing down, and then in the evening it had actually stopped, but I rubbed it against something and it started bleeding again, so I had to put like quite a big plaster on it through the night, but it has stopped now. But obviously because they inject some chemicals to make the blood thin, the blood just keeps coming out. You can't sort of stop it. I mean, it looks like a lot of blood, but obviously it isn't in real terms. But it does look like a lot, and it feels like quite a bit's coming out because it just keeps coming. I mean, normally you're used to things clotting, aren't you, and slowing down and stopping, but it just keeps running out because he's injected, like I said, that stuff that makes the blood run thin. But he's very happy. I kind of can appreciate the size of him really by camera. But yeah, if you ever want to feed a leech, feeding him is only half of it. When the leech finally falls off, you've then got quite a long period of time where you're constantly dabbing the blood, changing kitchen towel, whatever you're using, because the blood just keeps coming out. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't put a plaster on because it just soddens the plaster and drips all everywhere still. So that's part of it you've got to be aware of. I found that part in some ways harder than feeding the leech, because it just didn't stop for ages, and you're trying to do other things in life as you do. And I was dripping everywhere. Another interesting thing was when I put him on, I put him on this area thinking he was going to be nice and soft and he'd stay there, and he went round to the most awkward spot, and I swear he did that so he went to a spot where I wouldn't be able to see him normally, you know. Now if he went to that area, because that was out of the way and he couldn't, and then I wouldn't be able to see him, and that was quite clever. I was looking at some anatomy of them today, and I've said a couple of things in the past, but it comes down to the details of description. What I saw a close-up of their jaws, and what it is, they've got one mouth, but they've got like three jaws that go like that kind of thing. And those jaws look a bit like beaks on the parrot, and they sort of work and munch through your arm. Because I felt that needle feeling, but it isn't really a needle. It's like three beaks going like that, really small beaks, really sharp. But it's that's disturbing your tissue, which is bringing out the blood. Yeah, so interesting. At least that's him sorted for another sort of 8 months to a year maybe. He certainly looks happy now, and he's hardly moving. Here you go.